Welcome to the program today. Mondo Gonzales here in studio with a prophecy update, and I'll wait for a moment to reveal the guest of honor to let you know that if you haven't signed up for our Orlando Prophecy Conference, you can do that at prophecywatchers.com. You can get the information in the banner there. It's going to be a very unique prophecy conference, and one that we haven't done before in the sense that we're going to have community events and other entertainment events where we're going to all just kind of hang out in some of the non-session times, and so you can find more information about that at our website. But our guest today, Billy Crone, welcome.
Hey, thanks Mondo, thanks for having me.
And Billy's been here. We've been doing some programs on two of his books, Beyond COVID, as well as he has a new book out on Klaus Schwab with DVDs, all of it as Billy does, giving you the facts and the evidence that you can see for yourself. But one of the things that I wanted, while he was here, I wanted to talk about is you bring this up in the material, in your new material, but this phrase, it's not going away. People hear about it. This idea of transhumanism, kind of give for the audience that are like, I still haven't really figured out what that is.
Yeah.
Kind of give us a definition and where it's going, who's involved, and why we should be concerned.
Well, transhumanism by definition means to transcend the human limitations of the human species. They have an evolutionary mindset, which is not biblical. We came from God, we came from Adam, not from the ape. We didn't come from the goo to the zoo to me and you, we came from God. So they reject God, they're atheists, and it also tells you why they're doing this wicked behavior. But they believe as elites, transhumanists, that it is their duty to aid humanity in speeding up the process of human evolution with science and technology to create a better humanity in their image, not God's, and build a so-called utopia on planet Earth. That's the big idea when you see transhumanist agenda, whatever. That's really what the issue is. You're going like, well, that sounds crazy, science fiction. Good thing that's only a couple guys in a smoke-filled room with a tinfoil hat on. No, these guys are everywhere. They're in governments. They're billionaire elite moguls. They're politicians. They're again, working for the media. They're movers and shakers in the world, foundations like Bill Gates and others, Elon Musk and all these other guys, the rich elites, Klaus Schwab, the whole agenda of Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, quote, the Great Reset that everybody should have heard about by now. I keep warning people, when you do the research, it isn't just an economic reset. Most people will get that. Yeah, he wants to destroy the whole planet's economy so he can use that as an excuse to create a one world government and a one world economy, cashless society, which is the Antichrist kingdom, the mark of the beast, all that stuff. Yeah, that's right. But there's another side to that same coin. It's not just a economic reset with these people, it's a human reset. They're all transhumanists. And they want to create, and this is what they mean by the fourth industrial revolution, the Great Reset, they want to create their version of utopia on the planet, right? And part of that involves creating what they call a post-human species. Most people have caught on to that. It's been out for a while, that term post-human. What's post-human? It means you're not human anymore. Crazy as that sounds. Most people are starting to catch on to that. So the latest term is human 2.0. Doesn't that sound more palatable?
That sounds like a great upgrade.
I mean, it's just like
who doesn't like
phone.
upgrade?
You get an upgrade on your phone, right? How about an upgrade in your body? These guys are great. That's the lie. That's the ruse. And these people basically want to institute on the planet what they call the three supers. And it's not so super, at least for not those who are left behind. And the three supers are defined as this, with their transhumanist agenda, with their science and technology, the genetic modification of the human body. Because they admit we can now hack, just like we hack computers, we can hack the human body. And that's on tape everywhere. So the three supers are, they want to give super intelligence, super longevity, and super health. And when they talk about super intelligence, they're talking of an IQ on the order of 1,000.
Really?
And that's in print. And they believe they have the technology to do that to the human brain. Genius level, the typical genius, you're considered a genius when you're in the 140s. They want to crank it up to 1,000. Then they want to have super health, and that's a promise. We're going to get rid of all diseases and all this stuff, and you're going to run at peak performance and all that. Then the third one again is super longevity. And this again adds to where this is all coming from. It's a repackaged lie from Genesis chapter 3. Don't listen to God, listen to Satan, and you will be like God, right? And you'll know good and between good and evil. You get to decide what's right and wrong. And the same lie that was promised to the Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden that caused the fall of man has been repackaged in these last days with a scientific spin to it. And they believe they're going to live forever. They don't need Jesus Christ. They don't need God. They're going to use science and technology and create their own immortality. And you think, oh, that's nuts. That's crazy. They don't really believe that. That's not really what they're doing. Yes, that's what's called the three supers. Now, if you don't believe that, I got these guys on tape. And let me give you an easy one. We've demonstrated in our studies Elon Musk. A lot of people, I just caution you, they think, oh, he's a great guy. He's going to take over Twitter and bring back freedom of speech. Elon Musk is a transhumanist. He's a part of this agenda. He's also part of the agenda of getting brain chips as fast as he can into people.
Yeah, Neuralink, he's working on it.
Come on, give me a break. It's got, come on, you got. And so, but he's on tape saying with the mRNA technology, stop right there, mRNA, what's that? Oh, that's the same one that was put in the what?
Yep.
The jabs that people took. And so he admitted that with the mRNA technology, see, it's called a synthetic code, meaning it's a man-made code. They've created a man-made mRNA, messenger RNA.
Yep.
So they created a computerized version, messenger RNA, to be inserted into your DNA.
Give instructions.
That will then take over and give new instructions to your body. And he admits on tape, I kid you not, he says that could possibly, and I quote, reverse and or halt altogether aging. Again, they're plank, live forever. I don't need Jesus Christ, I'll live forever. And or he says, and we could turn you into a blank, and there's an expletive, we could turn you into a blank butterfly if we wanted to. That's something non-human, right? So he's done that. A big one who also works for Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, is his basically science advisor that people are starting to get more equipped on, Yuval Noah Harari. And he not only admitted his big talk in 2018, before COVID hit, at the World Economic Forum, he admitted that we are now at the point where he says not only we can hack the human body, just like a computer, he says that we are probably, in his words, the last generation of true humans on the planet. This is their agenda. He even goes so far to say that this whole idea of free will and that you get to decide what you want to think and what you choose, he said that's over. Because a part of what they want to bring is this surveillance society, not just on the outside of you, which they call the Internet of Things, where everybody's tied in together with all computers, all products, everything being completely monitored. The latest term is called IOB. It's called the Internet of Bodies. Now they want to be inside you, knowing everything about you internally, including, I'm not joking, your thoughts. I got Klaus Schwab on tape, who not only said in 2016 in an interview in France, I believe, over there in Europe, he said that we got to get used to the idea that just like we got microchips in all of our products, our clothes and things of that nature, he says that we're going to have them, and he points to the forehead. We're going to have chips in our head. Then the very next year, I got him interviewing at the World Economic Forum, Sergey Brin, who is one of the co-founders, along with Larry Page, of Google, who also works for Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. Trace the trail. It all goes back to Klaus and the World Economic Forum. And in that interview, he admitted, okay, now, that was 2016, he said brain chips. He admitted in this interview to Sergey, he said what they can do with those chips, that they will literally be able to monitor your thoughts. It sounds crazy. This is part of their agenda. As they create the IoT, the Internet of Things, and the IOB, the Internet of Bodies, and tie you into this matrix system. But he says in that interview, he literally says that, and we will be able to know, for instance, how you respond to what I'm saying right now, whether you liked it, whether you didn't. He admits it on tape. The
true feeling, yeah.
And that's why a lot of prophecy teachers like starting to say, and you can't say thus saith the Lord, maybe that term, Revelation 13, the mark of the beast, is a loaded term. I mean, all God saw fit to tell us that it's going to control the buying and selling on the planet for those that take it in the 7-year tribulation. But maybe it's more. Maybe it's, yeah, that's what it is. And that's sufficient for us to, what we need to know from Scripture. But now you look at the same technology that will allow them to control the buying and selling on the planet. But could it genetically modify? Could it control people's thoughts, monitor people's thoughts, and say, man, this is nuts. But we also got other people on tape, and this one blew me away. And this one just came out. Couldn't believe it came across this one. Jared Kushner. I invite people to take this out. I'm telling you.
Son-in-law of
Trump. And he's on, and he just says it like casually. They're talking about something else, but it just pops out, and then he just moves on. Out of his mouth, on tape, he goes, yep, ever since I left the White House, I've been working out, trying to stay in shape because I believe, and here's what he said, because I believe my generation, he points to himself, Jared Kushner, I believe that my generation will be the last generation to die and we will live forever. And then he just moves on. Like, doesn't everybody know this?
Yeah.
Even just recently, I challenged me, I believe it was CNBC, it's even still on their YouTube channel as far as I know, they came out with a special about the elites, how the rich elites are trying to gain immortality. And to their credit, they do a great job of exposing what these guys, and they admit it on tape. One guy said he's a global elite, and they talk about people like Thiel, who owns PayPal, and Jeff Bezos, Amazon, that they're investing in these immortal companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
To create these are all transhumanists. That's part of their plan. And by the way, they also work for Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. That's all coming from the same source. But anyway, so this other guy, Rich Elite, he admits there, and he just says, yep, he says, I'm planning on living, and he comes right out of his mouth, 180 years old. Which is chump change compared to the other guys, because they say, oh no, we're going to live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But it's on tape, and it's all out there, and you go like, this is nuts. That's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. It's a demonstrated fact.
And we don't want to we don't want to assume either that again, Billy brought up the mark of the beast that we believe it's going to be at least in the middle of the tribulation and beyond. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're not going to see any of this technology right before us, or even for some people to have the opportunity to participate in some of the benefits before it's enforced, right?
Right. Well, again, what we're seeing right now is not the mark of the beast. And we can be very dogmatic and emphatic about that, because that doesn't happen until the 7-year tribulation, which we're not a part of, and most people would agree it's even at the midpoint of the 7-year tribulation. So it can't be. The point is this: we're seeing the technology and the mindset to pull off a mark of the beast in the 7-year tribulation literally being laid before our very eyes.
Yeah, and there might be, certain pieces of benefits, hey, this could help with this, or this could do this. And again, it sets up the mindset. So you might have all these little pieces that are coming, and so that when it finally does come in the middle of the tribulation, people are like, oh, this is the final one I have to take? Whatever,
Right. Well, and so it's not just the technology. Again, it's the mindset, and dare I say, the attitude, the behavior needed that we're seeing prepared. And I'll go back to the last 2 years. What did we see over the jab issue? You see people that were, as the scripture says in Revelation 13, make, order, force, and cause to receive the mark. People were made, forced, and ordered to, if you didn't put this mask on your head, then you couldn't what? You couldn't buy and sell.
Yeah.
If you didn't get this thing in your arm, which is not too far from your right hand, then you what? You couldn't buy and sell. And you would think, especially here in America, well, they ain't going to do that to me. People basically lined up and said, what else do I got to do to keep buying and selling? So if anything, the last 2 years has been the biggest, for the first time in mankind's history, the biggest dry run to see how far they are on creating the attitude needed to fall for the ultimate deception called the mark of the beast in the 7-year tribulation. And dare I say, if I was a globalist, I'd be very pleased.
Oh, very pleased, yeah. Because when you look at what I thought was interesting too was you saw it in the beginning where the Biden administration and just government, whatever, if you want to say it that way, like, oh no, we would never enforce it. That's not our business. And so, but what they did is they allowed the businesses to do it. And even now, just a few weeks ago, what do you see with Starbucks? 100% cashless, digital now. You can't even go in there and do cash on it. So they're smart in the sense that the government doesn't necessarily need to do it. They allow the businesses to do it. Again, look at the medical, the hospitals, like, okay, you're not getting a job, you're not working. So all the way through, if you're not going to shop in our grocery store, so the businesses now are able to do it in such a way. But of course, they changed their mind and they later made some recommendations.
Right. Well, but again, you know why the businesses are going along with that? You think, well, it's because due to the resource. Guess who also, besides the politicians, besides the tech elites, the media, it's the businesses, the corporations. Guess where they've been trained? Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum. Once you get that, it's your aha moment. It's like, oh, I see where it's all coming from. And then you see their agenda and you're going, that's exactly what they're doing. So to me, the benefit is that I want to know what I'm up against. I want to know what I'm dealing with so that I can move forward as a truth teller and warn people in love to not be, what's the first thing Jesus said before he says, watch out for signs of earthquakes, famines, pestilence, wars, rumors of wars? Watch out that no one deceives you. We're coming to a time of deceit that I think has already started to be in play like never before, that's going to culminate in the 7-year tribulation. And we need to be that last days resistance, as the church is called, the restraining influence. And we need to restrain against this and tell the truth and expose what these people are doing to the detriment of the planet before Christ comes and gets us. That's how you finish strong and faithful as the bride of Christ.
Here we're talking about a prophecy update as it relates to transhumanism and other things. No doubt, it's hard not to sing them all together. Give us a brief. We got just give us a brief update. You're here filming some programs, but you got some new material out. Kind of at least give the titles and what you've been seeking to share the truth.
Yeah, the two bang punch I call it is our Beyond COVID, the global elites plan for human 2.0. So you're going to get equipped on this transhumanist aspect. And then you're going like, well, is this really a global organized effort? I mean, it would have to be if this is true. Well, it is. And that's why our latest one, hard on the heels of the other one, they're both very current, is Klaus Schwab, the Third Reich, and the COVID-19 Holocaust. And so we expose where it's all coming from. And again, it's coming from a root, dare I say a satanic root, but it is and has been from the early 70s a planned agenda coming from Klaus Schwab and what he created called the World Economic Forum, who ever since then has been training global leaders, and he's now got them planted all over the world. And admittedly, what was the trigger point? You got to first get people in place. Yeah. You got to brainwash people to go along with your agenda. But what was the trigger point?
Yeah.
And that's why he says we're never going back to normal, because that was their trigger point to institute what he calls the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Great Reset, which really is an addition, a continuance of the Third Reich, and it needs to be called the Fourth Reich.
Yeah. Billy, appreciate your time, as always. And again, if you think this is going away, it is not. Again, when even though life might feel relatively normal right now, this agenda is behind the scenes. They are not going to give up what they were able to get over the last couple of years. And so we're going to continue to try to keep you updated as we see. Again, you'll definitely want Billy's information. As always, he gives you pictures, he gives you videos, clips. You can see in their own words what they're saying, and it is not going away. And our job is to be equipped as believers in order to share truth with other believers first and foremost, but also with those that are completely blindsided. They are under the god of this age, the god of this world, who's deceiving them, and so we want to rescue them out of the blindness that's again opposed to the gospel truth. So we appreciate you watching, and we'll continue to keep you updated. We'll see you next time.